it! Get a grip! This stupid video I just showed you! I almost stroked out and died over it. You're watching a different show! You donkey! You ain't a captain of nothing but a sinking ship! Don't do this to me, Harry! The Ohio State. It's Ohio State! What do you mean, the? 312-988-15.
Hello?
You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's what a wild weekend in Notre Dame land. Notre Dame fandom. It was just something special, you guys. It was just something special. Just a new chapter in Notre Dame football history has been written, and it's for good reasons. It's for good reasons. What an unbelievable Notre Dame weekend. Whether you are at home with your people in the warmth of your domicile, or you ventured out to South Bend and getting in and getting out of there, and I know that was a struggle for people. What a new world of Notre Dame football. It was just awesome. I don't know what else to say. It was just an awesome experience. It is, I don't know, man. It's Notre Dame history, and Notre Dame's got a history book about this big. So when you can add a new chapter, it's pretty special. Okay, here's the deal. So I don't know what we're going to get with the crowds and what we're going to do here with it's Sunday. People have stuff going on. Here's the other thing, you guys. Schedule's just going to be messed up for Patreon and YouTube. It's just going to be messed up. We got to deal with it. With the holiday, we're going to do the best we can. So I hope everybody understands that. Let's see. We got callers. Everybody's got stuff to do today. I want to get Pat on and off real quick. He could go be with the family, get his quick thoughts. Let me do the introduction and a couple chats, and then I'll give it to the callers. I just want to see what you guys think. And I want to see where people take it. Are you going to talk about Notre Dame, Indiana a lot? Are you already turning the page to Georgia? Are you wrapped up in whatever happened with all the other games? Who belongs, who doesn't, anything like that? I would, Brian says, great day, Mr. John. I met 559. Great fan, great game. That guy is wild. His energy is real. I posted a short of me and him yesterday. His energy's real. It isn't fake. I met him in the parking lot and he still had that energy. So that's what we're going to do. And yeah, biggest game since last weekend. Isn't it the truth? All right. So thanks for being here, everybody. Obviously, you can find the program on YouTube and subscribe if you haven't yet. Appreciate it very much. Give the video a thumbs up. That helps John out as well. Notifications on that way you don't miss nothing. Twitter, sir. Oh, I'm trolling. Oh, baby. I am trolling the Indiana fans. I bookmarked all of the Cignetti running his mouth. I bookmarked all of the Indiana people chatting, and I had fun yesterday evening when I was done with my work, being able to go through and have a laugh at their expense. So that was joyful. So Twitter, search bar, Always Irish, rat, Always Irish Inc. Emails, alwaysirishindy@gmail.com. Audio only, anywhere you want it, you can get it. If you don't want it, I'm dying, you guys. It did having a sinus infection and going into that weather, I don't think was what the doctor ordered. Maybe it doesn't matter, and that's a wives' tale. I don't know, but I'm still struggling a little bit. Give me some grace on that. Audio only, anywhere you want it, you could get it. If you don't want to see my face, nobody blames you for that, especially me. How do you think I feel every single day? 312-988-15 dialed up. Tell Uncle Johnny all you heard and seen. Notre Dame Fighting Irish by Sports Illustrated. Read all about it. Patreon.com/Always Irish. We're keeping it rolling. NDCFP promo code. Let's go. Chalice of Malice. It's right here. We're ready to go. We're ready to go. Couple super chats. Let's see what we got. $5 holler from the Philly special. It's hard to be cold in the parking lot when Phil and his wife bring the fireball. You drink it, it melts your esophageal lining, and it just warms your soul. It's a beautiful thing. I don't know anybody say. I don't mind drinking them. They go down smooth, but it's like it feels like you're drinking formaldehyde or something, and your insides are melting like from the inside out. It warmed me up. I needed it. That's a winter drink. Glad I got to spend it with all my always Irish friends Saturday. The crowd stood and yelled the whole game. Apparently, everybody in the building stood except for one old couple behind Pat. Other than that, I didn't see anybody sitting the whole time on either side, except for apparently the only two people sitting were right behind Pat, which I find wildly entertaining because I wasn't sitting with Pat, so I didn't have to deal with it. But everybody else I saw was standing. Oh, look at this. $50 dollar from Donnie White. He's the man. $2 dollar from Rodney. It was good to see you too. Let's freaking enjoy this for 3 to 4 days. Rodney, that's one of my big questions. Let's see how much enjoyment there is in the moment and how quickly it takes people to turn the page to what comes next. Willie B's wife, $5 holler, go Irish. There's a comment there somewhere, but it's Sunday morning, the day of the Lord. I'm going to let it go. I'm going to be the bigger man for once. There's a comment to be made there, and I'm letting it go. I'm not doing it. Adam Dowling, ESPN does a better job than NBC after watching the replay. I got to tell you, Adam, we talked about this at like 2 in the morning last night. Adam and I, we were both still up looking up Notre Dame stuff. And I 100% totally agree. I totally agree. When I rewatched it and I see the production, number one, saying the production is better from ESPN, ABC, or whatever is different than saying I approve of all the programming they put on their channel. That's a totally different thing. So let's separate that out. The production's just different. Like the lighting's different. The biggest difference I notice is the sound. The sound. If you watch those highlights or rewatch the game, you can hear the guys grunting. You can hear them hitting, like just regular plays where there's blocks being made. You hear the pads like that crisp crack. You could hear people breathing. You could hear the guys grunting when they hit someone. The sound was fantastic. It is a different production. I feel like I noticed that right away. $20 from Josh. Our boy Johnny Boy was locked in as I'd ever seen before the game. I wish you could have gotten that flag on the field. Great seeing everybody. Go Irish, new to them dogs. I admit, I'm not trying to be some tough guy and act like I was just cool as a cucumber, man. I was wound tight. And so we still had fun at that tailgate, but like I was just not quite myself. This was one of those moments, man. I'm standing in that parking lot. It's getting dark. I was wound so tight. So beautiful, beautiful thing. Don't need to hear men grunting. I do when it's the football field. I enjoyed it. Like you could literally hear them hitting and going when they're hitting. It was just it was a beautiful thing. I gotta say, from the Notre Dame end, I criticized them a lot. They did a good job with the production of this whole event on short notice. I think they did a really, really good job. I thought they went all out on all the production and everything in the stadium. I think they did a really, really good job. You know what I noticed? I'm not trying to be mean. I'm really not trying to be mean. Anybody notice they didn't have the screaming lady? This was too big of a moment for the screaming lady between every time TV timeout that's yelling in the mic for you to get up and do stuff or whatever. Anybody notice that? Like you had Tim Brown out there instead talking about talking about winning Heisman's, right? You didn't have that lady out there. Okay, everybody yell now. Like, so I appreciated that. It was good. And then here's another question too. This is the last thing. I'm going to throw it out and then I'm going to give it to you guys. Yeah, Irv Smith in the house. Shane, people were talking about Shane Gillis being a modern age Notre Dame fan we kind of need. I love it. Whatever. I don't know who, listen, you guys, I don't know who has gotten to Notre Dame and told them to modernize more or whatever. Shane Gillis is a little bit of a wild card. You saw what he said to Saban. I watched that, later, obviously, because I was at the game all day. He's a little bit of a wild card because it's in his nature with the comedy and everything off the cuff, flying with stuff. Like you never quite know what you're going to get with him. It's great to have him in this fan base because he's a little more edgy than what I'm used to Notre Dame people being. Just because of what he does and how he is. So I'm a little surprised Notre Dame's so open arm around him with some of the style of comedy, but I love it. It's like a beautiful thing to have a modern pop culture guy at the top of his field, like that loves Notre Dame and wants to be a part of this is awesome. So I love that you have a modern, like hip cultural guy that's in the Notre Dame corner. I think it's great. He's calling him Alabama Jones. He's out there saying they were paying for players. Like, give me that. I absolutely love that. So it's a beautiful thing. So here's the last thing I'm going to bring up, and then I'm going to give it to the callers, and we'll see where we go. I got a hard out at noon, so we'll see. I'll try and get through everybody a few minutes each and try and move along. Well, I talk forever. I know. It's only been 10 minutes, not 30 like usual. Give me a break. Here's something I want to know. I want to know how many people here are concerned about the end of that game and what happened. And then when you looked at the other games, you kind of are mad because you're like, I wanted ours to look that. It's 10 o'clock here, Tex ND. I'm in the Central, so I can go 10 to 12. That's 2 hours, unless I can't even count to 2 anymore. I want to know how many people are upset by that and how many people are like, listen, we gave up 3 points until garbage time and then whatever else. Eye of the beholder. If you're not playing for rank, that's the only thing that's in my mind, like on the ledger, is you're not playing for rank to like impress people. You're already in, you just got to win. So if you want to look at it as 3 points when it all mattered, and then a bunch of garbage points were scored, I guess should the takeaway be, yeah, garbage points, and they scored a bunch of them and it still didn't even matter. And that should be the big takeaway. Or are you like devastated that they didn't keep that 3 on the board? Whatever. These are good problems to have. If that is what you're arguing about, good job. Also, one more thing to throw into the crowd, see what you guys think. While the experience of round 1 was entertaining and awesome for football fans, I think we can all agree the games themselves didn't turn out to be like nail biters. Oh, every game, a field goal difference or whatever. Does that bother you? Does that tell you they put some wrong teams in? Or do you feel like when you expand this field to 12, the way it's structured now, which I think they may revisit, by the way, do you just feel like some of these were bound to happen? And it doesn't surprise you that you would end up with, when you expand that net of the field, you're bound to get more dissonance between the stronger teams and the lower level teams, right? Like that makes logical sense to me that when you go from 4 to 12, you're going to have some teams in there that are barely making it and that are a lot weaker than the teams at the top. That doesn't surprise. But does that make you say you picked the wrong teams? I don't care how many games Indiana lost. They would have played better than SMU. Like, does it make you say that? Or do you say those teams earned their way in and then they lost the way Notre Dame's earned their way in before and lost? And it doesn't mean that Notre Dame didn't belong to be there. They earned their way there and then got beat by a better team with more athletes. So I want to know what you guys think about that. Here's the other thing. Tex ND. That's exactly what I was going to say. Here's one big takeaway I have from all this. Only neutral site game should be the championship game. I'm telling you, you got to have, it's college football. Put it on campuses as many rounds as you can. I don't know what you got to do. But it was amazing. And nobody could tell me putting a game between 2 great college programs in Jerry's World or something is going to have the same vibe. I know it's a big undertaking for these schools and everything. It's so much more magical when you could do it on campus. It hits so differently. It's just the feel, that collegiate, nostalgic, romantic feel you have for a home game on your campus and everything. It's a big deal and everybody's watching. It was just beautiful. So I want to know what you guys think about that too. And it's good to be talked about in the group that belongs. Do you feel me? The talk last night, you're going to have to excuse me, clear my throat, whatever. I'm messed up. That's bad production, but I can't help it. the talk last night was clearly after round one, we have a separation here. The teams that belong and the pretenders and the contenders or whatever. Think about this. I think it is a good sign of national perceptual progress that Notre Dame is being talked about and written about in the cut that belongs after round one. Do you feel me? And I know some people maybe don't care about that or whatever. I'm just telling you, I noticed in this national chatter and YouTube and podcasting and writing, people are saying, you know what? Notre Dame belongs in that cut of the teams that prove they belong or not, better talent or not, whatever. Also, man, I'm just telling you, I mean, home field, it just feels like it matters. When you could put a game of this magnitude on your campus and host, I just think it makes a little difference. I just do. And so I don't know what you make of it. Round one, all the teams that Lane Kiffin's mad. And did you see Joe Klatt roast him on Twitter? Good God. Joe Klatt. Lane's complaining that we played Indiana and didn't play him. And Joe Klatt writes, if your team played half as good as you tweet, you would be in the field. I mean, roasted. So I understand both sides of the debate, you guys. No, Alabama lost too many games you shouldn't be in. Same thing for Ole Miss or whatever. But is anybody going to tell me those teams probably wouldn't have played a tougher game against Penn State than SMU did? Or Indiana played us instead of Alabama. Now, I don't know. I don't know how you're going to do that. And then you get into are they going to reseed it when we go to another structure? I don't know. Donnie, I'm going to get Pat in and out of here so he can go be to the Christmas party here. And then I got Donnie with the big $50 hour coming up. And we got a bunch of calls. Everybody keep it to a few minutes and we'll get to as many people as we can. Get to your main points as I go on and talk for 17 minutes. Pat, you're on the air. What's up, buddy?
You got me?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Hey, what's up?
What's up?
To touch on Joe Klatt real quick. Well, I appreciate him calling out Lane Kiffin that way. The dude didn't take his own medicine. The guy picks against Notre Dame, gives an Andrew Gilmore list of reasons why Indiana is going to beat Notre Dame. When he goes in the show, he doesn't even talk about any of that stuff. He doesn't take his own medicine, doesn't acknowledge he was wrong. He just focuses on criticizing other people in the media who created a narrative of why teams don't belong. So I think Joe Klatt's a clown, personally, to sit there and say all the crap he said of why Indiana is going to beat Notre Dame and then not actually come out and acknowledge he was wrong on all of it. But whatever, that's fine. It's, most of those guys get to that position because they take those double standards. All right. The game itself, I for one, I don't, I'm only halfway through rewatching the broadcast. I've got a lot of stuff going on since we got back. I don't feel as good about it as everyone else does, but maybe it's just because, watching in the stadium, watching them score those 2 touchdowns at the end of the game. If they get that 2-point conversion, they're another very close onside kick away from tying that football game. I mean, obviously when they didn't get the 2-point conversion, it was still a 2-score game at that point. It didn't matter anymore. But I did not feel as comfortable as everyone else should. I agree Notre Dame dominated Indiana up to that point, but thank God Indiana isn't as good a team as Georgia, because if you get a team down, you got to beat them. You have to beat them. So I was happy with the way that game ended. I also thought the officiating was somewhat questionable. But I texted you and Dowling after the game. I said, leave it to Notre Dame to make a win feel like a loss. As I was leaving the stadium, I wasn't walking out of that place as joyous as I wanted to be. I'm happy they won, but it just left a bad taste in my mouth. The score should have been 27-6 like it was.
Yeah, I've seen two sides do it, man. I've seen that side, and I've seen not playing for style points. They called off the dogs, let off, whatever. I've seen both sides of it.
Here's the thing: they didn't call off the dogs. They were blitzing the quarterback. They were trying to make. They didn't want to give up that touchdown. So I don't know what switched. Maybe it was the players are like, okay, we're good now, but it has me very concerned because you do not beat Georgia. You do not beat Georgia if you get up and you get a mindset of we're good, and then you let a team score 2 really fast touchdowns on you.
You don't.
You're not going to beat Georgia.
Okay. The pushback on that would be this was a very, very specific instance and a very specific feel in this ball game that it was like over that you like wouldn't expect against a Georgia or something. Does that make sense? What I'm saying, like the way that specific game felt.
Yeah, but that's my point. Is it should have been over, but all of a sudden it's like, hey, wait a second, what's going on here? And it was like actually like a little bit nervous, but. At the end there. But I mean, they came out, they prevailed, they did what they needed to do to win the game. Style points don't matter. I totally agree. The only thing that matters is winning the game. But, and I heard in Freeman's press conference, the post-game press conference, and he said it himself that, you know, that was a great learning experience. I'm happy it happened because now I can talk to them about how to close out a team. So he recognized it, and hopefully it's something that he doesn't allow to happen against Georgia. As far as the Georgia game is concerned, I haven't even really put my thoughts to it yet.
It would be it would be a really good sign if you're in the position to have that problem against Georgia. I'll take being in that circumstance and let's see how it goes.
Absolutely. I am just very concerned about the fact that the team lacked the killer instinct when it was there. They could have ended that drive. They could have not let that team score a touchdown, and they could really bend the blowout that we wanted it to look like. But whatever, that's not the point. It's neither here nor there now. They won the game. They did the most important thing. I'm happy about that. Let's move on from it. The second thing is the chirping from the Indiana fan. You were in a heavily dominant Indiana section, so I don't know if you heard it more or less, but I was in a section that didn't have a ton of Indiana fans, but there were some, and they were loud and they were chirpy. Even as the game was clearly trending towards Notre Dame, they were still chirping a lot. And I think alcohol had a lot to do with it. I don't know. Marco Glasses was above me. I don't know if he saw the drunk dude in the fourth quarter where his friends had to drag him out because he was trying to get in a fight with people. But it was a very, very classless group of fans that I saw. Not all the Indiana fans were classless, but the ones that are around me in the stadium were really drunk and really classless, and they were losing the game. And instead of taking the high road, because none of the Notre Dame fans were dogging them. Nobody was even talking to them. And these fools just got stupid and started screaming about how none of you actually went to Notre Dame. You're not smart enough to go to Notre Dame, you know, and just all the stupid rhetoric. But I thought it was classless. So I am glad, more so now than before this game, more so than all the Signetti BS. I am glad that Notre Dame put this team down the way they did just because of that kind of shit. I hate that stuff. I hate it when people can't just take their medicine when they lose and they can't accept it and they have to be douchebags because of it. So I'm glad Notre Dame did exactly what they did to them. They blew up their run defense that they call. They took everything that was supposed to allow Indiana to beat Notre Dame and they shoved it up their own asses. So I am glad Notre Dame did it just because of some of them classless IU fans that I saw at the end of that football game.
Yeah, it's I don't know. And then okay, so Pat, what do you make of the other games after ours completed? What is your big takeaway from the rest of this field?
Well, so everything was a blowout, right? All weekend long, everything was a blowout. And my thought process on that is very simple. What do you expect? When you were getting blowouts when there's 4 teams. Of course, you're going to get blowout when there's 12 teams.
Yeah.
Nobody thought SMU or Clemson were up to snuff. Nobody should have actually thought Indiana was up to snuff. The Tennessee game, the Ohio State-Tennessee caught me off guard just because I didn't think Ohio State was that good. So now I still don't think Ohio State is that good. So now I'm kind of questioning how good really is the SEC. That's kind of the thought process that put in my head because I still don't hold the Big Ten in high opinion. And if that's the third best team in the SEC, how actually good is the SEC? But this narrative on like teams don't belong and teams do belong, all 4 games were blowouts. What makes you think you could change any opponent who didn't make it there to make that more competitive? I don't see it. I don't think you could have changed it. I think it's a BS narrative to say that Indiana didn't belong is BS. You know, they did what they were supposed to do. Like how can you say that a team doesn't belong when they do exactly what they're supposed to do? And that's what Indiana did. That's what SMU did. That's what Clemson did. So everybody plays by the same rules. So the comeback for these for Kirk Street and all these guys in the media to come back and say these didn't belong in here because they got blown out. Well, maybe we shouldn't have a 12-team format then, because of course you're going to get people playing against people who don't belong, who are significantly better. Like, maybe let's stop making all decisions for money, or maybe we just let this play out until we got our first. Yeah, we saw it. And you know what? There's going to be blowouts in the next round, and there's probably going to be a blowout in the semifinal. It's going to continue to happen because you're going to have teams that are just significantly better than the other, and it's college football. And this is just how it works. Not everybody is on the same level as each other. We've always known there's like that top tier, a secondary tier, a third tier. And the idea is we're going to use the playoff to figure out who's on what tier.
Yeah.
But the fact that some are going to be way better than the other, it's not going to, the selection committee and changing their process isn't going to change the fact that you're going to get teams that don't belong in there.
Okay, Pat, somebody said, this is actually pretty thoughtful. It's not the format, it's the seeding that a lot of people have the problem with. And that is something I wonder if they're going to take a look at, because it just seems like it's really, there's just some obvious, really tough paths and some obvious cakewalks with some guaranteed bids and buys and stuff like that.
What? So what seeding would you have changed that would have gotten you a different outcome?
I guess, I don't know. I guess they're not going to guarantee. I guess one thing would be not just because you win a conference, you're not guaranteed a bye. And you just seed people where they're at and not based on that would be one thing.
But I would agree with that. But what if okay, I guess the term, it matters on what format means, because if format means SMU gets in and Clemson gets in, then you're not going to change it. They're still going to get exposed by a much better team. So the seeding isn't going to change it. Do they have who does SMU have a more competitive game against?
Yeah.
Does Clemson have a more competitive game against Notre Dame or Penn State or Ohio State than Texas? I doubt it, because I don't think Clemson was that good. And I think at least Clemson played down in Austin, Texas, where it was warmer. If you put Clemson, I think Penn State would have blown the doors off Clemson, because they would have been cold. Like SMU was cold, and Dallas gets cold, but SMU was cold, and they were up in Penn State, and they just, even in that pregame interview with ESPN, SMU, that quarterback didn't sound like he wanted to play the football game.
Yeah, they looked cold. They really did look cold and miserable, even before the game.
So right, exactly. So I think that made a difference.
Yeah.
I do think it made a difference. But so I don't think you could change the seeding in the first round in any way to make it more competitive, unless you were putting the top teams against the top teams. But then what the hell's the fun in that, and what's the point of the playoff?
Yeah, I just think, listen, man, some of this is an immediate expected reaction for all the teams that are just outside of the field. And when you see these slanted scores, then you go to Twitter and say, I have an argument here. I think that is driving a lot of this. Let's be honest.
Well, the guy that surprised me the most about it was Kirk Herbstreit. I think he deserves to take a little humble pie too, with his take on Indiana. And I want Notre Dame fans to be very clear about the narrative of, it's not that Notre Dame belongs, it's that Indiana doesn't. And if Notre Dame loses to Georgia like Indiana lost to Notre Dame, you're going to hear the same thing again about Notre Dame. Notre Dame was a pretender who beat a pretender.
Yeah.
If Notre Dame loses bad. So Notre Dame fans, don't be sitting there, oh, look, see, we belong because we beat a team that didn't. That's not the case. That is not the narrative. The narrative is just that Indiana did not belong. It is not that Notre Dame did.
I've seen both. I've seen both. I've seen a little bit of both. I've seen complaints about the Indiana stuff, but then I've seen a bunch of stuff made about the winners of these games really separating themselves and belonging. I'll be honest, I've seen a little bit of both in the national media.
I haven't.
Yeah.
I'm not on Twitter, so I don't. Yeah. But the only thing I have heard on ESPN was that it was Indiana that did not belong, not that Notre Dame has proved themselves. Like, that's the thing. It's not, Indiana clearly wasn't on the same level as Notre Dame, but Notre Dame did not prove themselves that they're as good as an SEC school by beating a bad Indiana team.
Well, you got a big chance to change a lot of narratives at a different level of narrative. Now that you crossed this up and you won the round one game and you know, whatever, now you have a chance to reach another height here. And we have some time to get into that as, you know, the week or in a few days, whatever it goes by. Anything else, Pat? Thanks for jumping in. I know you got family stuff going on today.
Yeah, no, it was an unbelievable game to be at.
Yeah.
Probably one of the loudest I've ever heard that stadium. The student body was awesome. They were fantastic. So it was a great environment to be in. I'm so happy I went to it. I think we broke the Cotter curse, right? The Cotter curse is now broken. Notre Dame won a big game with me being there.
I know. I don't know. It's risky. I think you're still minus a few on the ledger, but I also don't want to tempt you to go to all the other games. So I'm not going to say that anymore.
Yeah. All right, Johnny. Have a great show. Notre Dame fans, be happy about this one. We got a big W here, and we moved on to the second round, and now we just have to prove ourselves against Georgia. Yeah.
Hey, Pat, thanks a lot. And it was a joy being with you and your brother as always. For these moments, we got to be together and feel that. So I'm glad we did it together, man. Thanks.
I'm happy that people got to see the real John Kennedy.
Yeah. Oh, isn't it a joy, Pat? Isn't it just a joy to see big game John pacing around the parking lot all pissed off all day? Yeah. Hands in my pocket, just walking around with a weird look on my face. Yeah, I'm just a joy. I'm just a treat, Pat. All right. Have a good day. Oh, God love them. All right. I got to blow my nose, you guys. I'm sorry. I got a sinus problem. I don't think being in that weather helped. Being in the weather helped, you guys. That's not it, J Carr. That's not it, J Carr. Good meeting you and everybody else. Couple super chats, right back to the calls. SEC beats Ohio State, hypothetically. That's the big thing from the SEC that I've seen. Pilney, $20 holler. From the poop shoe. Georgia is what ND wants to be when ND grows up. Now I want ND to beat Georgia badly. It's a disrespect game. Wow, that is that's tough. BVG should be the coach, $5 holler. If beating Iowa State would have been a big postseason win, then this is too. Yeah, that was a New Year's 6 game, was it not? A New Year's 6 game. 765. Make it come alive. Thanks for the $50 donation, Donnie. Appreciate it.
Hey, no problem, John. You got me?
Yep.
Okay, I'm mobile. I'm heading up to South Bend. Just real quick, I don't know if you read my text earlier, but they put my mom on hospice. If I could just get some prayers from Irish Nation, I would, appreciate it. So, anyway, I'm mobile and I'm in a bad spot heading up to South Bend. I hope I don't lose you, but
good for now.
Man, what a game! What a game! That was they dominated, and I am so happy. I'm so glad that they took Signetti, the cigarette king, and they actually stomped his butt.
Yep.
Here's the other thing, John. I'm going to be quick because I don't know when I'm going to get cut off here. So the other thing is about, all these seedings and everything. Hey, my boy and I go round and round on this. He wants Notre Dame to join a conference, and I'm like, nope, stay independent as long as you can. Back when I was your age, I said there was tons of teams that were independent. Miami was independent. They didn't have these big conferences and all. You had the Big Ten, the Pac-10, and they played in the Rose Bowl every year. These younger generation, man, they don't know who the real GOAT in basketball is. That's Jordan, LeBron. Anyway, this committee, they're just going to have to take it this year. Everybody, did they put the wrong teams in or whatever? Hey, they're the ones that set up the rules. You put a Clemson in, as long as you win the championship in your conference.
Yeah, they set it all up. They got what they wanted. They set this up. I was saying the whole time, what's going to happen when you have a conference winner that has like 4 or 5 losses or something? They get an automatic bid for winning that like a bye and an automatic pass. That seems wrong to me. And you're almost there with what Clemson did, to be honest.
Exactly. That's about what they did. And, and Pat's right. You're going to have blowouts. I wanted to ask you though, John. We couldn't really see too much on TV. I watched it at home, but what do you say the percentage of Indiana fans were inside the stadium?
Maybe 80-20, maybe other people write in if you disagree. I ended up in an Indiana heavy corner, 80-20, maybe. I will say this, Donnie. Here's what my take. A bunch of people asked me about this. Here's my take. I think it wasn't overwhelming, but it felt like only because of the location convenience, there was more people from Indiana there than if it would have been anybody else. Tom, like just because of the weather and the short turnaround and being willing to be in that weather and make a rough drive in for a lot of people, horrible drive back for all of us heading back to Illinois. It was treacherous. There was snow and ice, cars in the ditch, construction at 1 a.m. It was bad. You had to be willing to do that. And I just feel like there was a little more Indiana fans than there would have been of any other group because of that convenience. Tom's saying 85-15. Maybe I'm feel a little more because I was in an Indiana heavy section.
Yeah, well, I know one thing. You watched that game last night. It looked like there was a lot of orange in the old Buckeye Nation.
Oh, they're cold.
Stadium.
That had to be a cold drive home in the night for them. Woo, buddy.
Oh yeah. Anyway, John. So a few of my Indiana friends that were giving me so much crap down here, I just texted them after the game. I said, "How about them Hoosiers?" And I stopped watching it at halftime. That's the thing, John. You're right. They have zero scar tissue. They never lived through, Willingham or Davie, or Charlie Weiss. We lived through those days. It's still loud and proud about the Irish. I don't care if they win or lose. Everybody knows where I stand.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. Everybody knows. Yeah. I mean, for crying out loud, last year was the first year of my wife. We have a tree in our back room where we have all our Notre Dame stuff hanging up in our Notre Dame room. And she's got a Notre Dame Christmas tree this year. She started it last year. It's pretty cool. So everybody knows, there's no doubt.
Yeah. Donnie, thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate you giving me a call. And, we'll get some candles lit and get some prayers from the Always Irish community for Mom.
Appreciate it. And John, one thing on the way out, and this is real quick. Is there any injury update?
I have not seen or gotten a bunch of updates yet. So I don't know. Maybe I'm missing it because I'm out of my normal routine too, but I have not been alerted of anything major.
Okay. Well, we definitely need Mills back.
Yeah, I know.
We need them all back. I want all them boys healthy. That's always my big thing, no injuries.
Yep.
But okay, John, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And let's go beat the Dogs.
Have a good one, man. Thanks a lot, Donnie. Always with the $50 holler too. 5 minutes on the dot. Mark with glasses, Always Irish Senior needs his own podcast. I know exactly why he's saying that, and it's really, really funny. Like, I know exactly why he's saying that, and that is hilarious, Mark. Kent, good to see you. I feel like I haven't seen you around as much, man. It's good to see you. You guys look great. I love Jeremiah Love. Yeah, man, my voice was blown out because of the first interception and then him running down the field. The good thing is, you guys, when you have a 98-yard run, you get to enjoy the big play for longer because it takes like 10 seconds. Instead of like a play being over in 3 seconds, it takes like 12 to run down the field. So you get to celebrate that whole run down the field. It was just, and then from there, my voice was shot. My voice was just, it was absolutely shot. But man, what an experience to be there with everybody. Rodney, what's going on? Tom, I see you. Tim, I see you. What's up, buddy?
Hey, John. What's up, buddy?
Not much. A wild weekend in Notre Dame land. First things first, it was good to see you in the tailgate lot. Everybody from the Always Irish crew, they got out in that weather. It was good to see you again, and I'd love to know what you make of Notre Dame in these other games.
Yeah. It was great seeing you. Great seeing Pat, your dad. It was awesome. Yeah, boy, Pat and I are on the same page with that. And Andrew Gilmore, God bless you, man. You always have interesting points as he calls in. But yeah, I don't know, just always taking the extreme narrow path of, well, let's talk about this point. And it's interesting, but it gets a little annoying sometimes, like being the contrarian. And yeah, man. But having said that, but it was just weird that Pat and I were on the same exact level there that day on that aspect. I got a few bullet points here, John. I'll try to make them quick and then be on my way so people can call in. But I'm going to say this first before I go to my next point. Signetti, Indiana, they're good for the game. They're good for the game. And I really, truly believe this isn't just a flash in the pan. I think Indiana is going to – and keep in mind, this is first year. He's going to recruit better. He's going to have better guys available in the transfer portal. He's proved he can do it now. I think this is a team that's going to rise up to, top 5 Big Ten. They'll be, I think, consistently in that conversation. It's like sometimes the Wisconsins will get there. Sometimes the Iowas will get up there. They're going to be one of those teams, I think, that's up there. And that's good for college football, man. And they deserve to be there, John. It's easy because you look at 2 games where they played superior talent in both games. They were soundly beat. I wonder how much of that's also mental. It's like you get that to that level, and then a couple things go against you, and then you start maybe down. I don't know. And I also think the bravado Signetti showed is really good to pump your team up for the year and going week to week. But the problem is you then stoke the bear of the more talented team where maybe you don't do that if maybe you're a little more humble. Maybe you catch them a little bit off guard. And I think that was a big problem, dude. I mean, it's like, dude, this is not smart to be saying this against a team that's more talented than you. If you don't win this game, it kind of makes you like a clown a little bit. And the pants proved it.
Yeah.
And I'm disappointed to hear all the fans going around saying things like that, man. It's like, that bothered me. Like, it's okay if you're just going around just starting fights, it's like, who are you? Like, what have you done?
Yeah.
Like, what's that about? Like,
I will say this, Rodney.
Chirping back. It's like, don't.
That's what I was going to say. No, this was a different Notre Dame crowd. We had an edge to us in that parking lot when they were walking by yelling at us. Our side was chirping back in a way I'm not used to the Notre Dame fan base doing, and I really appreciated it. Like, this fan base had an edge to it, the kind that we've all been begging for, and we that weather weeded out everybody who wasn't there for any football reason. People, our side was talking, not starting things, but talking back and like really being chirpy and chippy, and I appreciated it. Warmed my heart.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, and those warmers Pat gave me helped as well. I had that one gloves on, thinking that would be fine, and I needed 2, but whatever, man. That was a fun day to tailgate and great game to watch. Enjoy this win, guys. This is we can get into Georgia next week. The team's already gotten into it, but I'd say for fan base, look, man. Here's what's interesting, John. They've done 2 things. There's 2 things that are now true at the same time, and they couldn't be polar opposites. Notre Dame still has the monkey on their back with the bowl win thing. They have to get that off their back against Georgia. Okay, and we'll get to that, in later calls. But they've also done something else no other team has ever done, and that's ever win a home college football game on a home campus and be the first to do it. No team will ever be able to say they were the first to do it. And so it's weird. They got a major post-game monkey off their back, while if you want to get really specific, one still remains. And it's just they started a new thing, and now they still have to end another thing. So it's just very interesting, those 2 worlds kind of coming together where they've started something brand new, and I'm proud that this is the team that did that, man. We can, whatever. That was really it. Yeah. And my God, did Notre Dame embrace that home atmosphere.
And it's like, Rodney, a part of it is like, take the opponent out of it. Just for the moment, This was the first game of the 12-team playoff. To have the honor to have it, they pick your game to be the standalone game on Friday night. This was a very special situation, regardless of who it's against. To get a win in this environment was very important for practical and perceptual reasons. Regardless of the opponent, how good they were or not, I'm glad we did it.
And John, I'm watching the game on TV. I had all the sound on it, and everything. But you could hear how loud it was in that stadium just from me watching it on TV. It was loud. And I'm telling you, let me say this too. Peak Notre Dame Stadium. Peak Notre Dame. When it's at its best, it is one of the toughest places, I think, to play in college football when it's at its best. You know what I mean? It's not always there. On average, you're going to see LSU, Tiger Stadium, name several others that are more often that level maybe. But at peak Notre Dame, it is a very hard place to play from the. I mean, ask Matt Leinart at USC in 2005, and again, this game last night, and a lot of the home night games, especially, that crowd comes, man, and they do. I mean, Clemson a couple of years ago, that was incredible.
Yeah,
USC last year, that is a tough place to play play when it's at peak level. So good for Notre Dame, man. And John, on that same topic, I'm like, the changing of the guard. Oh, by the way, and that includes Shane Gillis. The first time I saw Shane Gillis was on Joe Rogan. I didn't even know who the guy was, and he was wearing this Notre Dame shirt. I'm like, who's this Notre Dame fan guy that I always see on there? And he's always wearing a Notre Dame shirt. And then he finally told his story about him and Brady Quinn in Ireland for the Navy game and encountering that Conor McGregor dude that was trying to start fights with him, but then turned out to be pretty cool. I don't know if you ever heard him say that. That was hilarious. But yeah, good for Shane Gillis, man. Bavacqua, Freeman, Brady Quinn. And then I put just two kind of random thoughts, Riley Leonard, Sam Hartman. This is just a new vibe for Notre Dame. You know, this whole trend. Everybody was saying, "Oh, with a smart for the Sam Hartman improve his stock coming out of college." It's probably not, but I tell you what it did do. He got himself a really good NIL deal, and so he wouldn't have got that if he had left a year earlier. So he still got himself into that notoriety. I think probably we're going to be seeing Sam Hartman on. If he's not a model or whatever, we'll be seeing him, you know, as the talking head probably in a few years.
Where'd you go? Rodney, you totally cut out. And I don't know if it was me or not, buddy. 3 minutes over, I did anyways, but I don't know what happened. You totally went bye-bye. Pilney, $20 holler. Last Sugar Bowl victory was the Lou Holtz Cheerios Bowl against Florida and Steve Spurrier. It was the Jerome Bettis show. Go, you see a little Jerome Bettis, Jeremiah Love there. Omar, cut the call. Oh, that's funny. Rodney, I didn't do it. You just went bye-bye. West Paul Pat, WPP. Yeah, you know me. WPP, $10 holler. J Love stiff arm could not have been done last year. IU coach after the game said ND was stronger and more physical than expected. ND strength and conditioning coach deserves considerable credit. Totally true. You didn't know how that was one of the big questions of the year, you guys, because it was his first year doing it, came from a self-business model and an NFL model, not a college model. And the question was, how is that going to transfer over to the college game the way he does that stuff? Apparently great. They were ready for A&M. They've been ready for these moments. Their problems have not ever been, they're physically not ready for the moment. $5 from the 559. Boss, man, we driving to the airport. Thanks for you and Pops. Hey, thank you for the chain. And it was just a joy to see you, man. First tailgate of the day I hit. And there he is. Terry with the scary ND fans trashing IU, but only won by 10. All other games were 14 plus differential. Terry, whatever makes you feel good and sleep at night. I know what I saw. Notre Dame dominated. Indiana got exposed. The final score is the final score. If you're going to live and die off that, I suggest you raise the bar of expectations. You were just happy to be there and whatever. I don't care. Signetti ran his mouth so much and he got shut up in front of everybody, and it's beautiful. $20 holler. First thing Lou Holtz did was recruit team speed, and that being the first visible sign of Freeman's recruiting prowess. This is Lou Holtz type, tight bonded, nasty fighting team. They never give up, man. They just keep on fighting. They just keep on fighting. Tom Frawley, what's going on? Let's see if it's my phone or Rodney. But got you, Tom?
Hey. Hi, John. I hear you loud and clear.
Oh, okay. So apparently, I don't know what happened to Rodney there. Tom, first things first, buddy. We both had gnarly drives home, getting home really, really late. I'm glad you made it safe. It was rough on that toll road, man.
Well, yeah. So like I told you, my daughter and I looked at the traffic conditions online right before we were pulling out, and I was parked just south of the Embassy Suites, south of the Joyce lot. And it said there was already 2 accidents. And that was, an hour after the ball game.
Yeah.
Or about an hour and 10 minutes after the ball game ended. So I took the old route, Route 20, west to Michigan City. And that was a nightmare because it was snowing. And then you got the lake effect and all that. It was
well, I'm glad we made it. I'm glad everybody. I saw multiple cars in the ditch, semis having trouble. It was bad construction. I'm just glad everybody made it safe. Like it was a rough.
I am too.
It was a full cold day, and you had to be there for the right reasons, Tom. Listen,
There's no question.
Yeah, this was for the diehards. Tom, I talked to you on the phone privately off air Thursday night before I did the night show. and we had a really good conversation about what this moment means to us and our families and all the people in this community. What are you thinking and feeling, man?
Yeah. Well, here, look. I mean, at one point before the game, I got in there plenty early. I wanted to see some of the warm up. I catch all the pomp and circumstance and the build up. And I looked around and I noticed the stadium started to fill up a lot quicker than it normally does. The student section, they were already in there, full on, ready to rock and roll 40 minutes before kickoff.
Tom,
and
I noticed it too. I loved everyone here. It was so great to see everybody there for the football, Tom. About a half hour before the game, I feel like all the seats were full. People actually valued the football over pounding 4 more beers this time. Like, it was really good to see the seriousness of the moment, and the place was full well before kickoff. Like, everybody had to be there for the right reasons, and it was just a joy to feel that energy at Notre Dame. And I've been to a lot of games. You've been to it way more than I have. That was a feel even you old school guys could appreciate. It was rocking in there.
Oh no, there's no question. That was the most electric I've ever seen that stadium. Period. Full stop. End of story. That was something, and it was sustained throughout the game until we got up to 27-3. But I'll tell you what, back to Pat's point. Now, I was in the southeast corner of the end zone too, but I was on the goal line, and I was right. I was amongst most of the Indiana fans because that's where they were, and you were above me. So you saw it. I have never, arrogance and ignorance put together is a terrible combination, and that's what they were. And sure enough, I had a guy walking in right in front of and he was sitting in my row, or sitting in front of me, and he started chirping the moment he walked in the row, and he instigated with everybody around, and he actually started a beef with 2 nice. There were 4 gals sitting in front of him, really nice ladies, all Notre Dame fans. He starts chirping at them. Then he got in a beef with a 20-year-old kid sitting next to him. And he reached over to one of his buddies right in front of me. He says this. He goes, "Hey, you got an extra $500 on you?" And the guy goes, "No, why?" He goes, "I'm going to need it for bail money because I'm about to stomp this kid." And that's when I grabbed him by the scruff of the neck, and I said, "You touch one hair on his head, you and your 3 buddies are going out of here in an ambulance. And if you don't think I can do it, fucking try me." And that was the end of that. That ended it. And
Tom.
And as soon as we got the last touchdown, he got up and he just started to leave, and the entire section started screaming at him, "Who's your daddy?"
I like
it. Was beautiful. And he turns around and he said, "Good luck with Georgia. You're going to get boat raced." I'm like,
jeez.
It's just, I've never, and I tell you, I put these guys up there with the worst college football fans ever see. I mean, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And you're picking fights with younger kids.
Here's what I saw, Tom. Man. Tell me if you, here's what I saw. And all the experiences are different depending on who you interacted with. It was 87,500 people. Here's what I saw a lot of. I saw a lot of older couples like my parents' age wearing Indiana stuff.
Yeah.
And they seemed like really classy. And the kind of people that maybe went to Indiana but are from the area and respected the moment and wanted to be a part of it. Yeah. I saw a lot of those like 50s, 60s, like Indiana couples put together, very polite, happy to experience the history, respectful. The problems I saw were with the college and the 20-somethings that were over. They were.
I'm sorry to say that, but there's no respect. You don't have to do that.
Rodney Dangerfield. I don't get no respect.
No, it's too much.
Yeah, that's who I saw causing all the trouble. It was those young kids, the college kids in the 20s, and they were lippy. They're lippy.
No, let me say this. Here's the difference. Yeah, all this vitriol and all this crap, it's been going on since before my time. The only difference is it gets magnified because of Twitter and all the other social media platforms.
Yeah.
It gets these kids revved up.
Yeah.
And I can honestly tell you that. Because like Tony Soprano said, just another telephone tough guy. You're sitting there, you're a tough guy when you're punching your you're typing in your phone.
Yeah.
But go face to face with me and let's see what happens then.
Yeah.
It's a different generation.
Tom,
Most
I
of these
like
kids
this edge
never
from
got
you. You're such a nice guy. I like
You know
seeing
what I
this
mean?
edge of you. I like this, Tom.
Well,
Give
it's
it to
the
me.
truth, so the other part of it was, which made it bad. I looked right before the national anthem and when they presented the colors, and I said, "God bless America. This is it's a wonderful place to be." And then they got a piss all over it with the anti-Catholic rhetoric,
Yeah.
and there's nothing more that drives me crazy. So when the asshole in front of me said, "Where's your rosary beads?" and I dug it into my
Jeez.
pocket and I pulled them out and I dropped them right in front of him. And I said, "You want the holy water too? Because you're probably going to need it."
Oh, Tom, you're a legend, Tom. You're an absolute legend.
Well, no, it's just, and then of course my daughter's sitting next to me wearing all her Indiana garb, and she's true to her school, and she said to him, "You're an embarrassment. You should leave now because you're embarrassing all the good Indiana fans." And I was like, "Good for you, Mary Claire." It's like, come on, what are you doing? It's a football game. But when they start bringing sectarian conflicts in and the Catholic versus Protestant thing, people have to remember that the headquarters of the Ku Klux Klan was just outside Terre Haute, Indiana. You get south of Indianapolis, and I'm going to tell you right now, you think you are in Eastern Kentucky, West Virginia. You know where those people came from? Scotland. Most of them came from Northern Ireland or Scotland. They're Orangemen to the core. They hate Catholics, and it's gone on for 300 years.
Man,
in America.
That's a lot of
800
history.
years in Ireland.
That's a lot of
these
history,
people,
Tom.
They are ridge running, stump jumping, Chesterfield, no filter smoking, branch water and bourbon drinking shit kickers. And that's all they'll ever be. And I
Tom,
say, please don't bring your crap into Notre Dame
Tom,
Stadium. This is hallowed ground.
You're a legend, Tom. I love you so much. You're a real one,
I'm
man.
sorry. That gets me.
You're a real one.
God, it drives me to no end. And then again, the lack of respect for Notre Dame. Now I'm looking at all the boards and the message board. And I had a guy from Georgia today. He said, Notre Dame's going to get beat by 50 points. He said, 50 points. I said, you care to make a wager on that? He said, yeah. So he bet me $100, and I'm never going to collect it. It's like, you mean to tell me Georgia's going to beat Notre Dame by 8 touchdowns?
Oh, man. Tom, you are a legend, my friend.
Arrogance and stupidity should never collide in the same sentence.
Yeah.
And that's what they are. So good. I love it. I would love to be in the Notre Dame locker room to get these guys. And Freeman's got them locked up. I believe what Pat was saying. They took their foot off the gas toward the end. Yeah, I would have liked to see them close hard on Indiana, but I still think, and this reverts back to what I've been saying all year about Mike Denbrock. I still think he's keeping a lot in his back pocket. He didn't have to go with 21 personnel. He played it, let's just run the football. We'll play defense, hopefully kick a couple of field goals. Hey, we did that.
Yeah.
And let's get out of here with a W. But I think Kirby Smart is going to find out. You're going to see a totally different offense. Now, Georgia Tech laid down the blueprint on how to beat that Georgia defense. They couldn't handle Hayes King. He's very similar to Riley Leonard. He's mobile. He's 50. He throws the football a little bit better. And they only have one receiver. That's Singleton. The way that Faison played, wow, did he step up. We're going to need him. We're going to need Greathouse, and we're going to need Mitchell Evans to beat Georgia. But I'll tell you what, if Mike Denbrock watched the entire Georgia Tech game like I did, I mean, you take Georgia to 8 overtimes, they should have won that game. But Kirby Smart, he's already massaging the refs. I can feel it now, that crybaby son of a bitch. He stood out in that field throughout the entire overtime, and they never threw him through a flag. He was between the 10 and 15 yard line. They gave him a sideline warning once, because he's the cream of the SEC now.
Yeah.
All they got to do is go down there, play fundamental football, and run Mr. Inside and Mr. Outside at them, and continue to bury them.
Tom,
I think they're going to come out of there with a win.
Let's stay in touch now. Now, I know we got the holiday and the schedule is going to be messed up, but stay in touch. When you do more in-depth Georgia research, give me a call back here in a few days and get back with us with some more specifics. Anything on the way out, man? I love you, Tom. You're a real one.
Thanks. Listen, Merry Christmas, everybody. I apologize for losing my temper and my bad language, especially in the Christmas season, but that's what those people do to me. They just bring the badness out of me. I don't want to be around them because they're not classy people.
Yeah.
So, you know what? Oh, real quick. So next year, the people I tried to help get tickets for, guess what happened the morning of the game? Tickets opened up. I could have bought 6 tickets for face value, really good seats.
Interesting. It's good to keep in mind.
Next year, play the waiting game. Even the people that have to travel to come up to Notre Dame, play the waiting game for a big ball game and get a contact with one of us who's more dialed in. So you don't have to pay those exorbitant fees.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Tom, it's really, really good that we created this little network and everybody's everybody's keeping in touch in our little Always Irish thing. And you could trust everybody to pay the people you're connecting with. Like, it's all within our network. And I know I can trust the people I'm referring to make deals with other people. We had a lot of that going on within Always Irish. And it's a beautiful thing. Nobody was looking to rip anybody up. We wanted as many of our people in there at face value as could be to get our right-minded people in there, and it's good, and so we'll get that going. Tom, God bless you, man. You're a real one, and it's been a joy getting to know you over the years, and I know this meant a lot to you. I hope you relax this Sunday and try and not watch the Bears, okay?
Oh no, I'm not. I'm already gonna start watching all the Georgia tapes I'm gonna watch the Georgia Tech game, get ready for that, and just celebrate, man. The Bears are dead to me. I'm sorry, they are. I could care less anymore.
Tom, you're great, man. I love you. I'm happy for you, man. I know how much this means to you. I'm glad we got this one, Tom. Take care, man. Merry Christmas. Love you, buddy. Oh, Tom is a real one, man. He is. Talking to him Thursday, it was a really special conversation. Talking to him on the phone Thursday before I went live here. Man, it was awesome. I'll get you 559 while you're on the line to the airport. Tim, I see you too. I want to get to you. Always Irish Senior. Was great having the tailgate lot full in December. Must be in the CFP every year. Great seeing everybody. Irish got to play 4 more quarters. No late fourth quarter BS. Go Irish. I'm telling you, Always Irish Senior's a real one out there too, man. He was rocking. Listen, I mean, where do you think I get it from? We meet up with 559. I have my chain on. 559 gives us the ND chain with this. Hold on. 559 comes through with this when I meet him. So I said to my dad, I already got a chain here. I don't need to flavor it up double. I said, for this one, why don't you wear it? So I got Always Irish Senior out there in the all leather 1988 championship jacket with that chain on, rocking it all day, baby. I'm telling you, it's a beautiful thing. We had this thing on lock. 559's going to the airport. What's going on, baby?
What's up, Joe? What's up? We're driving to the airport right now, my boy, but we're gonna stop by, go see my hero, Michael Jordan statue real quick. But I want to say real quick is thank you all, every single person that I met. You treated me and my son with so much respect and class. Like I am first foremost. Let me get that out of the way real quick. Dr. Abby, Randy, JTL, your dad was just awesome. Every single person that I met, thank you guys so much. Like from the bottom of my heart, from my familia to your familia, muchísimas gracias. Like I'm overwhelmed of just the goodness that there is in this world and the Notre Dame fan base that was just awesome at the tailgate. I'll let you know something about the fan base in a minute. But let me get that out. Let me just tell you guys thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you guys for everything. You guys made this experience
it's an experience.
Well, thank you, man. Thank you. You're the one who had to do all that travel to make the effort to get there and see everybody. I mean, I want to say thank you to you. It was easier for me to get there than you, and it was great seeing you. And you gave us the chain, man. It was just a joy.
Yeah, sir. So then, that was just one of the things. Like, it's not over for me yet. It's not. It's the one of many now that I just got to bring my oldest with me. I got to have my two boys. I got to baby Jesus. But like I said, guys, now let's talk about football, guys. This is where we measure up where we're at as a program and as a fan base. You want respect, you're not going to get it. You got to go and take it. All right? You're not going to sit back and be like, oh, my God, we beat them, so people... No. Winning takes care of everything. Believing takes care of it all. One thing I am upset, and it bothered me a lot, and we need to change that mentality, my guys. All right? We all love Notre Dame. 52 seconds. There's no reason why we couldn't start chanting, we want Georgia. We were told to shut up, the game ain't over, to sit down. But you know what? I told you you ain't ready for this, California guy. I told you you're not ready for this. I told you guys in advance. You don't want me to tell Ben because I got him out. And I'm going to let everybody know. Ain't nobody going to tell me to sit down and tell we want Georgia. I know we can take on Georgia. I believe that we can got this. I believe that we got the coach and we got the football program. And now we got the administration backing us up. We're ready for Georgia. Let's go, my boys. Let's not be afraid. Let's stand up and go toe-to-toe. And let's play this tangle. And let's shut them up and run the ball. Let's roll this ball.
Are you yelling that at the airport?
I'm driving that into the airport. And you know we don't want to bring down my jersey, my necklace, my jacket, Mexico, you know what I'm saying? Everybody know I'm a proud Mexican. I'm a Notre Dame fan, guys. Wherever I go, I represent where I come from and where I'm from. And I'm thick and thin, Irish all the way. But you know what, guys? We got to stick together. We got to change that mentality. And enough of this, what it used to be. We don't live by the past. We live by the present and by the moment. This is our moment, guys. This is our opportunity. Let's go. I believe in Marcus Freeman, and let's give him the 102%. There's no reason to be fearing. There's no reason to be doubting. There's no reason to be thinking that, contemplating it could not be. No, we are Notre Dame, and we're going to go take all respect.
Man, I appreciate you, man. You guys are real ones, man. My callers, all of them are real ones. You guys, dude, your energy is contagious and it's genuine, and I loved it, man. It was really great meeting you. I'm so glad that I was able to do that. Anything on the way out? I want to let you catch your flight.
Yeah, John. Right. Yeah, I'm going to get off the quick so I can shout everybody. It was so funny, John. So the first when I went out in front of the Golden Dome and I took a picture and I started yelling, "Let's go Irish!" That was literally. Right after I did that, I walked to the tailgate because I was kind of like trying to regroup. Because I was tired. We were only on 3 hours of sleep the last 2 nights. First night, excitement to head out here. The travels, oh my God, the time framing, the back and forth really screwed us up. We only spent like 3.5 hours. I went to go do that, and I really thought it was going to be really tough. But once I saw you, and once I saw everybody else, and Dr. Abby just giving us food and energy and all that, like I told you guys I don't drink, but I make sure the people around me are having a good time. Because that's how I do. We party because we bougie. Wherever we go, we represent. What a party, my guys. My entourage make sure you guys were looking up and animated up. But I was taking my 5-hour rushes and my energy juice. But literally, after I posted that picture, I walked over there and I saw you, and you gave me that energy, my friend. Thank you, guys. I love you guys all. Nos vemos pronto. Viva Notre Dame.
Safe travels, buddy. Oh, my gosh. I love that guy. It was hilarious watching Always Irish pace for 4 hours before kickoff. Adam, here's the problem. The problem with this is folks are getting used to me at the tailgates that I've done. And the blue and gold tailgates, Notre Dame can't lose that day. So there's no reason not to cut loose and have fun and everything's happy-go-lucky. And then I've done Central Michigan and Miami, Ohio games on purpose early in the year for the weather. You figure it's going to be good. It's more affordable. People can bring their families. I like getting the kids involved, bring the whole family to the tailgate. I want people to be able to do that more affordably. And it's not going to be high pressure Ohio State situation or whatever. So I am more able to drink my Miller Lite and relax and be happy-go-lucky and just have fun. This was not that moment. This was a different just a different thing. And they're not lying. I was pacing around. Pat knows, Adam knows. My dad he just lets me just let him do it. Just walk and be. I'm sorry. Oh boy. Oh, can we see Always Irish wearing the chain? I got some pictures. I'll post them. I will. Tim, what's going on? Oh, here's another real one. What's up, Tim?
Hey, how you doing? I'm glad you got safe. You feeling better?
Yeah, you know what, man? It's fine. It is what it is. It's just this time of year. It was, Tim, this was a very unique Notre Dame experience. I'm just really glad I could be there with my dad and Pat and the whole Adam and the whole Always Irish crew. It was a beautiful thing. It was beautiful.
It's tough. The two great callers before me, I was going to follow Tom's call because I think he's a little bit older than me. I wonder if he was at the Notre Dame Miami game in '88. Equal the atmosphere of experience. But John, I was going to lead in with 1 down, 3 to go.
Yep.
I think we can beat Georgia, dude. I think it lines up. Georgia cost us a title in '80 when we lost 14-7. We fumbled an opening kickoff, John. We could have won that. And they beat us twice. That lazy liberal SOB did not recruit well enough. So ND's right there. I think this sets up. Like Leahy, Marcus loves Notre Dame. And if you don't get this, the Andrew Gilmores and the clown down in Florida that don't live in down that school, I don't care if he's got an ND degree. I got to get rid of you because I got a tip-off I'm missing. I'm actually I stayed online. I'm missing my women's tip-off because, I follow the children. You got to care. I think we get it done. If we get by Georgia, how about this ironic thing? We get to Ohio State. And we get you follow the Bulls. What if we get Ohio State in the title game and we get redemption for that misery? Sometimes in sports you have to suffer through misery. How beautiful would that be?
It would be a full redemption story from the misery of that Ohio State nightmare, Marcus Freeman's connection to that place, to come all the way back and then get one that's even bigger.
Buddy.
You're getting one that's even bigger on the back end after that nightmare that he had to own. It would be the ultimate Notre Dame. It'd be the ultimate Notre Dame redemption story.
Pistons reference. Think about that. No, I know we got to beat Georgia. I get that. We're 0-3 against the sons of bitches, but okay. I think we can beat them with it. I think they're vulnerable. I do. He's got 11 days with gold. I think we can, and they're vulnerable to a running quarterback. I think we got a shot. Why not?
Yeah. It's listen. I don't. Alvin Holton. This is a new name. Must be a Georgia fan. Your last win for 2024 was IU. That's it. Like what? Okay. Like whatever, man. We're gonna see what happens. I don't know what you expect me to respond to that with. I'm not gonna get offended. We'll see what happens. It should be a good ball game. Everybody respects the talent on Georgia's roster, and the head coach has proven himself. Nobody's in here crapping on him. Jeez.
Well, I don't get it. See, I'd get a rest. I don't go in Twitter. Look, I get Georgia. You've got 2 titles in the last 5 years. I get it.
Yeah.
But you know what? You got 3 all time. Okay, fine. You're Georgia. Give me a break. And here's the other thing. Let's factor this in. Our people actually go out and get degrees. I'll give you the perfect example. Justin Tuck. He makes more money now than he did in the NFL. You know why? He's a managing partner for a stock brokerage company. So let's just play this into what ND people do versus you other clowns do.
Tom, Tim, I don't know, man. This is all. What did you think of what did you think of the production value? What did you think of the experience? How did it look to you? I thought it was a top-notch Notre Dame performance. I was happy to be there. Look, Notre Dame went all out. They did a great job. They're getting modern. Tim, they're getting modern. They really are. They are getting younger and more modern around that place.
I agree.
They are. They are.
You have to do that. And thank God. And they didn't do it. Thank God they kept the uniforms normal. Please, I wouldn't. But I would have lost my mind if they went to black. It fucked with the helmets. Sorry, I didn't even use that word. If they messed with the helmets, I would have been mad. Yeah, I agree with your whole point. I've texted you that. Agree. Don't touch the helmet. You wouldn't do all that. But hell, win. I don't care. He's worked his ass off. If you're telling me he said his teammate go celebrate, and he was on an ESPN interview because I saw it on YouTube, that he's watching game film already that night.
Yep.
He lives and dies like Leahy. He lives and dies it.
Yep. He's
he
probably
wants to win.
Tim, you'll know this reference. He's probably sleeping in that little room above the old firehouse there, like Frank did.
You know that, right?
Yeah, just
still there.
Just like Frank did.
I haven't been back to campus. I haven't been back to campus since my dad. Well, like 15 years. I used to go back every year.
Yeah.
And then after my dad died, I haven't come back as much.
But Frank he didn't want to make that commute because he was wasting valuable time. So he would just crash in that little one-room little apartment or whatever above the firehouse to not have to go home. And he did waste all that time. I love Frank's he was maniacal about Notre Dame winning, and perfection was the goal. And listen, I at least feel like Freeman cares as much as the fans do about winning, and he puts in a ton of effort, and I respect it, and I want to see him succeed.
Yeah. Okay, they already generated it. I mean, are you kidding me? I'm glad they bought in, because what scared me is because with all the liberals taking over Notre Dame, and that arrogant, that son of a bitch, I'm going to go after him again. I don't care if he's got an degree. To ever sit there and come out of Notre Dame and question you and Pat, and I've texted you this too, to say you're not as bright as him, screw you. I'm sorry, I don't want to make this negative, but that annoys the hell out of me. That's not the true reflection of Notre Dame. You never do that. And I knew you and Pat are brighter than I am. I was born to be brighter and born in a special time. And these things. That's what shocks me. They're on board to back us. You know why? Money. Sad, but that's why.
Yeah. They're getting more modern, more quickly than I thought they would adjust. They are. And I think that's a really good sign of the youth movement of leadership at Notre Dame, between the younger priest that just became younger, generally speaking, priest that became the president. And then you have a younger-ish AD and a young head coach. There's a lot of energy, and it feels like they're letting those guys modernize things a lot. It's little things, music in the stadium, just little touches. Shane Gillis being welcomed with open arms in the locker room. They're modernizing and getting, I don't expect anybody that's not a lifelong Notre Dame person understand what I'm talking about. Like the frustration of feeling like Notre Dame's not always modern with the times with college football. It really does feel like they're trying to do it. And it's beautiful. I love it.
What do you think? Do you think we can go on the magical run? Because I know you got other callers to take. Do you think we can go on the magical run?
I think every team in this field has strengths and weaknesses. There is no one team that's just ironclad. I just think you got to play good games, and anybody that does that consistently can make a run here. So, and let's see if this version of Notre Dame has better success against Georgia than the Kelly's versions that got close but couldn't quite get over the hump. Let's see if you could do better this time.
But he was lazy, John.
Oh, I know that.
He was lazy.
Well, I've been talking about it for years.
Lazy. That's why people that back Kelly. No, I'm sorry. If you back Kelly, I want to know why you follow Notre Dame. I'm sorry. I want to know that. Why? And I don't want to say the elephant in the room. Why? Why do you back Kelly? Lazy. Didn't care about Notre Dame. No. I'll die on my sword on that one. No. He didn't live and die in Notre Dame. You know that. That's how you and I became friends. No.
Yeah.
And you got people that you're close to that live and die Kelly. Screw them.
Oh,
man.
I
can't stand that man. He's an arrogant SOB.
Tim, it's good.
I hope to God, how beautiful would that be if Marcus Freeman wins the title week? No. And these clowns don't live and die in Notre Dame. No, they didn't do the work. I did the work to go to Notre Dame and live and die. And I got to go to tip-off here. I'm a couple minutes late.
Tim,
I love you to death. That's why I called in.
It's just good to see you in the holiday spirit, bro. It's good to see you in the holiday spirit, giving out the joy. Go to the game. Go watch the game, Tim. Love you. Thank you. See ya. Oh, my God. I wish I like him because you never know what you're going to get. But he always has to throw in some stuff I don't want in the show. He always slides it in. And then he texts me later and goes, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. But he's been doing it for like 2 years. It's just his thing, apparently. Pat, I had to take a walk. I had to take you for a walk at one point. And we were rambling about something. And then you turned and looked at me and said, where the hell are we going? I don't even remember that. I was in a weird mental place. I was like there, but not really there, kind of in a little daze, just pacing around. And then when it got dark, I started feeling more of it when it got dark. It's winter, so you're tailgating in the dark till the game at 8. So it gets dark, and then, I was worked up. Ooh, I was worked up. $2 holler. IU fans were worse than OSU, almost as bad as Michigan. Again, I saw a big split between the younger and the older. I saw a lot of very reverent, normal looking, like middle-aged couples that were totally fine, happy to be there, respected everybody. It was fine. The college age kids in like early, like mid-20s, they were the problem. And they were the problem. They were drinking a lot. Every group I saw, they were drinking a lot, but they were the problem. I mean, they would just walk by the sidewalk where our tailgates were and just go, F you, not say the full thing, F you, walking down the road. Like, I'm not used to that. And we were giving it right back to them. Rob asked the book, Frank Leahy and the Fighting Irish, and it's a dandy. It's a dandy. Yeah, John's only 25. He's one to talk. Yeah, that's a good one. 574-298. Welcome to the show.
Hey, John, how you doing this beautiful Sunday morning?
I am doing very well. It's just, this is all such a awesome new experience, and I'm glad Notre Dame won, and we could keep the train rolling and we move along. But I'm glad we were a part of it, and I'm glad Notre Dame succeeded in this moment. What do you think?
So, a couple things. So, my whole family actually got to go to the game. I couldn't go because my child decided to be 3 weeks early because she didn't want to miss the first Notre Dame playoff win. So I had to give my ticket away to my brother-in-law. But I've heard some very mixed reactions. I know a couple people from work that said that they were around some annoying fans. So my brother-in-law, he sat next to two guys who were like around my age, 30, who were actually pretty respectful. They just said, if we win, that's awesome. If not, I mean, we had a great year. We never see this happen at all. So if we win, that's great. If not, good year.
There was the people
in a good spot.
I saw a lot of that too towards the end when it was obvious we were going to win. Like, I didn't see a lot of them like pissed off, miserable, upset. It did feel like they knew they were playing with house money to a large extent, and they were playing it up and riding it as far as they could and talking as much as they could. And, and then reality kind of hit. But I just feel like, that's, I saw some of that. It was playing with house money, man.
Oh yeah, no, I completely agree. But here's the thing, though, is that I have never seen more of an overreaction day like yesterday before all the rest of the playoff games happened. Like the Notre Dame Indiana game was the best game, probably next to the Texas Clemson game. That was the best game out of the rest. The rest were blowouts, and of course, every single SEC fan was talking massive crap all weekend, and everyone else was telling them after the Tennessee game, I'm sorry, where was that trash talk you were talking the whole, day Saturday? Where'd that go?
Yep. Yeah.
Where'd that go? All right. I forgot. You guys do hypotheticals because you can't do anything else.
Yeah. Yeah. I know it was, I'm just glad to dispatch this whole Indiana thing and get it gone and done with and put them back down a notch and whatever. And you know what else I've been thinking about too is what this means for the Big Ten. Like how bad is the rest of the Big Ten that you let that team not just win the way they did, but put up dominant numbers? That's the thing. It isn't just them winning, but the dominant statistical numbers this Indiana team that's clearly limited was able to do running through the weak part of the Big Ten it's offensive to me. Geez, I want to knock the Big Ten down a notch too, man.
What I saw was all last week was nothing but SEC and Tennessee fans talking so much trash to Ohio State fans. And one of my coworkers graduated from Ohio, and he said that he has got that Ohio State, like the only trash talk we try to talk to is the Michigan fans. Anyone else, we wait until the game is over.
Yeah.
And he said the feeling after the Michigan game was, if we're not going to trash talk because we thought Ryan Day, should have been gone. And then I texted him after the game last night, and he goes, now we trash talk.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know what you make of this field and everything. I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't be surprised at all that when you expand out to 12, you're bound to get more obvious variance between the teams at the top and the bottom. And then you add in home field environments and whatever. Maybe nobody should be surprised by it. But I'll tell you what, we all watched it. Like, even though the games weren't like, oh my gosh, biting your nails to the last second. I mean, it's better than not having them, I guess. If this is what we're doing, it was still compelling football enough that we all watched all weekend, right?
Well, here's the problem I have is that everybody's saying like, oh, the committee got it wrong. I'm sorry, but this could just be just a one-off year, okay? Like, if an NFL team makes the playoffs and then they lose like Tennessee did, are you going to say, oh, well, the Jets should have been and they would have given a better team? No, they earned it. They did their job. Indiana did their job. They went 11-1. They did their job. What more you could have asked them to do other than, not lose by 2 scores to Ohio State? Tennessee beat Alabama and everyone else on their schedule. They did what they were supposed to do. All the people who are just mad that the games were bad are just fans that didn't have their team win. Well, that's because your teams failed in the regular season. They didn't do what these other teams did. And yeah, they lost. That doesn't mean they didn't deserve to be there. That's my opinion.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I don't think we should be that surprised by some of this. And it does make me wonder what, if anything, they may readjust later on with either not doing guaranteed automatic buy bids for conference winners, regardless of rank and record, or if it means it's something where they reseed after the first round, which would be interesting. It'll be interesting. I want to see how this manifests and down the road what they do with it. And again, maybe that's where you say Notre Dame needs to take advantage now before they mess with things. Maybe it makes it harder for I don't know. I don't know what to think about it yet because I don't have all the data yet.
The only thing I think that needs to be fixed is auto bids. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
Because I don't see Texas is going to have problems with Arizona State. Sorry. I don't.
Yep.
I also don't think that Penn State's going to have trouble against Boise State. Just not going to see it.
Yeah.
Okay? Those are the only things I think that the playoff committee needs to fix.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think if you go 11-1 or 12-0, you should be in. I don't care.
Yeah. Do you have an early opinion on the Georgia game? I know I have not quite turned the page to that yet. We're going to do a few days of articles and content with this and then have plenty of time to build up to that. Any early thoughts on the matchup?
The only thing I am only concerned about is that we have no film whatsoever on their backup quarterback. And he's a he's a very mobile quarterback. So that's the only thing I'm a little concerned of. I wish we had KVA healthy because I would like to see a little bit more speed in the linebacker position for when we have to run spies, if that's what their offensive plan is going to be. Other than that, I mean, let me ask you, did Indiana's, rush defense, is theirs better than Georgia's? Because Georgia's right now not in the healthiest spots right now compared to years past.
The funniest,
how well can we enforce our will running the ball down there?
The funniest thing to me is all that was made about Indiana's allowing only 70 yards rushing average per game. And with 11 minutes left in the first quarter, Notre Dame had more than that. It was a beautiful, beautiful thing.
So I think this year of college football, I think is the most vulnerable year that we've seen because what Shane Gill said was true. NIL has completely made the game more balanced. It's not just 4 teams that are dominant and have all these 5 4-star stacked on their roster anymore.
Yeah.
The rosters are all split. There's not a dominant team anymore. Not one super dominant super team.
Yep. Yeah. And I think
everyone's vulnerable.
I think everybody kind of agrees with that. And it's like there are better matchups or worse matchups for certain teams, but it really does feel like if you catch a heater and you have the right vibes, catch a couple breaks, play solid football, you have a chance to really do some damage in this tournament. And so I'm excited, and we'll get into the Georgia stuff and build it up. It's a whole different kind of challenge, and everybody knows that and respects that, and we'll see where it goes. Anything else on the way out?
Oh, no. Like I said, I'm just happy with the win. I'm happy that Jeremiah loved it, tied Josh Adams' record during a playoff game. That was amazing to see.
Yep.
I love that the message the whole week was people being scared about, just Freeman getting his contract extension. Will that distract him from the game? Heck no.
Yep.
Just like he said on Saturday, Marcus Freeman is the embodiment of what every Notre Dame football fan is today. He cares for the program way more than Brian Kelly did. Which, by the way, shout out to Scott Van Pelt right after the game when he was showing Notre Dame's college football playoff history and showed 2 pictures of depressed Brian Kelly and then a picture of Marcus Freeman as happy as a kite.
Yeah, it is. Listen, man, it just means a lot to this fan base to feel like you have a head coach who literally wants to win every bit as much as we do, and to feel like you have an AD who wants to win as much as you do, and you feel like they're working towards it every single day. And we just always haven't felt that. And I'm not just including Kelly in that to nail him. That is a big problem. And it just feels good to know those guys are putting all that effort in. And it really feels like Notre Dame's trying to modernize a lot of things and stay with the new modern age, how everything's done. And I'm starting to like it.
I am too. And I love what Freeman said. He said that he told the guys, take yesterday to, enjoy the win. We'll come Sunday. We'll start looking at Georgia tape. He said he didn't go to bed late on Friday night because he was looking at Georgia.
It's exactly it warms your heart, man. You could see a guy saying, I'm going to sit there and enjoy this one. I'm going to pour myself a drink and pat myself on the back. And no, he is there grinding over the next moment already. And that is Frank Leahy type of mentality. And that's my favorite Notre Dame guy of all time. That is a Frank Leahy, nothing but perfection, is like work yourself into the ground. Cut years off your lifespan just to get this in the right spot. And it warms my heart. And you know what? The Notre Dame fan base deserves that kind of dedication and effort from leadership. We deserve that. All the money, all the tears, all the stress, all of everything that we've all been through, we all deserve that. And it feels like we're getting it. And it feels good, man. And you know what else too? Freeman had some really rough spots the first couple years of building this out. Very public growing pains, learning on the fly to be a head guy. Had to eat it all. It is good to at least a little bit feel like you're starting to kind of see the benefits from some of those tough lessons show up.
Absolutely. And I'm happy we finally got somebody who gives just much love into this program. Actually more. I would argue that he is more of a Notre Dame fan than all of us are. If you're putting that much hard work into it.
It warms my heart. Hey, man, thanks for the call. Really appreciate it. Clear phone line, too, man. Wow, we're really off to the races. I like nothing excites me like a clear phone line, you guys. John, the IU fans were just acting like their head coach. I'm telling you, man, he was. I tweeted this. He was saying something like he was on the game day set. Obviously, I didn't see it because I was tailgating and doing all that. And he's just, we don't just beat people. We beat the shit out of them. This and that. Like, dude, there's confidence and there's arrogance. And I feel like Cignetti really overplayed his hand. I feel like it was like a strategic decision and he overplayed his hand. There is a very thin line between what people perceive as confidence and arrogance. And it just felt like he just flew right over it. I don't know, man. He was rubbing me the wrong way. And you know what else, too? Here's the other thing. You got, look at this. Look at this. Wow. $100 holler from ND77, kicking in my Patreon bonus to you. And you, Goolsby Clark, for all the midnight film sessions. Thanks for carrying us through the offseason every year, brother. Hey, that means the world to me. And I always will have a special appreciation for the people in my network and the Always Irish Family Network that are with me year round. That is the only way I could ever quit a corporate job and tried to do content full time, is if I could keep an audience in May and June and July and whatever, when it's people need a break from football, they're on summer break, whatever, like out of sight, out of mind till August. The only way I could make any of this network work is with those people that are there all the time year round, and the Patreon people too. So I think you guys are always really special to me. You diehards that are there year round. Some of you even don't even watch all the content every time, but keep the Patreon going to keep some money going so we could do the other stuff and the call-ins. It means the world to me. Thanks a lot, ND77. Here's the other thing I was thinking about leading into this game. There was a huge difference between how the two sides here approached this moment. I felt that there was a quiet, calm confidence from the Notre Dame side. And I felt like Indiana overplayed the cards they had, the hand they had, and they overplayed it and leaned into it on the other side with Cignetti leading the way he ran his mouth and all that. There were two very different buildups in these programs. And I started to like the way Notre Dame and Freeman were just not talking much. Everything was pretty much like serious and wrapped up. And like they just had the confidence that they were preparing the right way. And I really appreciated it and I liked it. And it turned me off the way Indiana was building this. They overplayed their hand and they got exposed for it. And it was just obvious very, very early on. Notre Dame had more athletes and better and bigger athletes. It was just kind of that simple. I did not see live being at the game, but I heard there was a cold exchange between Freeman and the SIG at midfield. Good for Marcus. He lay low. He didn't take the bait. He didn't see Cignetti doing stuff and then think, I need to match that or get in here and do. Nope. Quiet, calm, Notre Dame confidence. This team knew they were able of going in here and doing exactly what they did and winning the game. And they just got down to the brass tacks of it and didn't engage in all the fluff and all that and let them all be distracted by I don't know if I want my head coach making that many headlines leading into this moment when you're the new kid on the block. Do you feel me? I don't know if I'd want my coach to be making all those headlines when you're the new kid at the table, the big boy table now. So maybe there's a learning lesson for Cignetti and he'll be knocked down a couple pegs, but I don't know. But that guy, I tweeted last night a video of him running his mouth. And then I just said him and BK should have an ego contest and see which one is more insufferable and whose is more inflated. The guy turns me off. So I just think that they overplayed their hand because they didn't know what else to do. But I liked to see the calmness with which Notre Dame prepared for the moment. 415, welcome to the show. What's going on?
Hey, John, how are you, boss?
I'm doing very well. It's just been a new experience, man. Like it's with a history like Notre Dame has, whenever you could say you're writing a totally new chapter, that's special to me. And that was what this was. It was great.
It absolutely was. And, I was watching the game with my family here in California and just thinking about you and everybody that called the show that was able to go and be in that atmosphere. And I'm very much an atmosphere person. So I can only imagine the electricity and just the vibe that you guys were just feeling. And, it also brings out all the emotions and,
dude, you're
the painstaking stuff, the great stuff, throughout the years.
Yeah. I got to tell you, man, it was so great to see all these people at the tailgate, like from the Always Irish group. And we're just like hugging each other. Like, it's just like bonus time. Like we never get to do this time of year. Like it was almost like you couldn't believe that it was what it was because it's just never happened before. And everybody was just hugging each other. Like, I can't believe this is real and we're doing this. This is awesome. Like I had to be there, man. I had to be a part of it. I had to feel what this was like. And I can't thank Nick Shepkowski, the boss at Sports Illustrated, being like, John, you and your dad need to go and be in the stands and you are the man of the people and you need to be with your people. And you need to, feel all that and write your articles whenever you get home. Like, I appreciate the flexibility to be able to go kind of do that. And it was just a great Notre Dame weekend.
And that makes you want to work for them even much more, right? You want to be you want to go the extra mile. When somebody is able to sit there and extend something like that and understands how important something is to you and makes it happen for you, so you're not pigeonholed and not being able to go, I mean, that's fantastic. So kudos, man. That's awesome. I did want to touch on something that you and I spoke about before, as far as respect and like, is this the big game? Is this the one that we're going to be able to get over the hump and people are going to sit there and say, oh, Notre Dame actually won that game? You know, I've thought about it so much, and the more people I've listened to, it's really about each person's perspective is going to be the reality. There's going to be a bunch of people that sit here and they say, we did it on the national level. Everybody saw it. It was a playoff game. This counts. And then on the flip side, there's going to be people who say, well, it wasn't against Georgia, it wasn't against Alabama, it wasn't against Clemson. And then on another like kind of ghost side that nobody sees, you're going to hear the people who I've talked to recently who said, even if you beat Georgia you didn't beat them when they were at full strength, or it wasn't the 2018 Clemson team, or it wasn't the 2020 Alabama team, or the 2012 Alabama. Those were like the juggernauts. And it's like, you're not going to be able to please everybody. So the reality is, one of your callers was like, just go get it. Go get your respect. Go get it for yourself. That team, Marcus Freeman, for us as a fan base, we go in, we get this W against Indiana. We earned the respect for ourselves, knowing that we did what we needed to do. And then going down into New Orleans, and, you know, basically, I mean, obviously it's going to be more of a home game for them, even though it's in a different state. It's still the South, it's still SEC country, all that. But, you know, if we go down there, and I truly feel like we can pull this out and go and make a really good run into this playoffs, it's one of those ones where who cares what anybody else says?
Yep.
You know what you did.
Yep.
We know what we did together, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, when you get see, that's the issue with it, is how far can you do that? Okay, Indiana didn't belong, and then Georgia is an injured quarterback, and then the next one would be Penn State never wins a big game. Like, so you get all the way through our bracket, all the way to the end. What are you gonna win a championship? And then you know what it's gonna be is, you know what, Notre Dame shouldn't even have been in the field because they lost to Northern Illinois. This is invalid. Like, at that point, I don't care what anyone says on Twitter or in my chat or whatever, because you're holding a trophy and nobody else is. Who cares?
100%, 100%. And then dovetailing into that, we were also talking about recruiting. And I was just thinking about, you know, I'm more of an old school guy. I don't need all the lights and all that other stuff, but I think it's pretty cool. But it's not something that draws me to Notre Dame. What drew me to Notre Dame was the authenticity of the school, the program, of just the way that, you know, when you talk about Rockney and all these other guys, it's like, man, that's what drew me to it, you know, that, and obviously Joe Montana and whatnot when I was a kid. But the idea is that when you think about being an 18-year-old kid or a 17-year-old kid who's getting ready to sign and go to a school, what are they into nowadays? You know, they're into that flash. They're into the hype. They're into like all those things that come with a big time program. And boy, did we deliver.
Yeah.
I think it was just one of those ones where I'm sitting in my living room going, wow, okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Here come the recruits.
Yeah.
And they're going to see a W, and they're going to see someone like Jordan Love going out there and just killing it. And it's just like, all right, that's what they want to be a part of.
Yeah. It feels like it took a while, because it always kind of does, but it feels like the roots of like the Freeman kind of vibe of this younger vibe of this program are starting to take hold, and people are getting on board. And if you navigate it the right way, people will get on board and want to help you. If you treat people the right way and you do all of this within the Notre Dame value structure, people at Notre Dame are going to want to help you in a way they haven't with some of our recent coaches. And I just see like this modern Notre Dame, and just seeing like the production of everything Notre Dame went to make this moment big, and then to have the team win it and succeed. I just see the whole program kind of modernizing in front of our eyes in a way I wasn't sure they were going to sell out and do, but I think they're trying to do it.
Yeah. Yes. 100%. As far as some of your callers talking about, I've been in these situations before. You know, whether it was back in the day in the bars or whether you're sitting there at a big game and somebody starts chirping and they start getting loud and you just kind of look over and you think, man, it's just not worth it. But,
Yeah.
you know, for kudos to like some of those folks that have called in earlier and were talking about how they turned around and like really like told these people like, hey, you need to start, you know, zipping it up. And a lot of times once they get put into that situation, they do it. The unfortunate thing is that they're drinking too much and then they just keep going.
Yeah.
Right. And now you're kind of like in a spot. But it's one of those ones where when I just look at it from a football standpoint, the fan base itself act like you've been there before. Well, guess what? Indiana's never been.
It showed.
Right?
I'm genuinely, it genuinely showed. And I don't mean that in like a condescending, we won and we have all this history and you don't kind of way, because I'm honest that in my existence, Notre Dame's won nothing that I can remember of value on the high end. So it's not like that, but you could just tell they didn't know how to handle it. And so I just think they just didn't know how to, they was just happy to be there. Let's crank the obnoxious meter to 10 and go for
it. And that's a reflection of leadership. Hey, thanks a lot, Sig. Like, you came out here, you're running your mouth, you got punched in the mouth, and now you're down on the ground, and now you're not saying anything. And it's just one of those ones where I'm like, you know, it's just that your fan base is going to follow that. Well, who are we following? We're following Mark Sweeney. What did he do? Kept his mouth shut, talked about the game, sat there and said, hey, this is what we're going to do. We're going to grind. We're going to get after it. There was nothing in the media. You know, he's not going on before the game and talking, you know, about like, hey, we just beat the shit out of everybody. It's like, come on. Like, what are you doing? Like, have some class. Sig's had none. Their fan base, for the, you know, sounds like a little bit of it. Not all, but some definitely had no class, and now they can just go back and sit there and deal with it. The other 2 points I was going to say was, as far as one of the most pumped up I've seen Freeman all year was when Jeter hit that.
I know.
Goal.
Yeah.
And thinking to myself, like, when we were going into this, and I didn't even want to say it on air with you back, you know, however many weeks back, but I was like, there's one thing that's making me nervous, and it is the field goal game for the most part. That, and then whenever Riley Leonard, every once in a while, he can like throw these passes that you go, oh my God, what are you looking at? Those are the two things that have, for me, somewhat of a question mark. And, you know, of course, there was an interception right off the bat, but then Jeter gets pressed on, what was that, like a 49-yarder or something like that. And I'm thinking, okay, dude, this is it.
He got it. Got it. Comfortably got it. Nailed it. Little draw, like a comfortable draw.
Kind of remind him, John, just to kind of remind him that, you know, he still needs to put in work. And the reason why is because that kick that got blocked was super low.
Yep.
And you just go, okay, wow, okay. Now back to the practice field. Don't feel like you're just like, you know, you got everything figured out.
But I do think that was progress, even though there's frustration with the onside, and then that, like, on the plus end, you made a couple of the field goals. You had the successful end around kind of reverse thing on the second half kickoff that succeeded. And it's just like, and so I do think overall, you got to say it's progress, especially that he made the first two with the game still in doubt and needing to build that margin. And he did that in that environment, in that cold, when you're coming back from a leg injury. Like, I think that's all good news that makes me feel a little better about it. Hey, man, I really appreciate you touching base on a Sunday. Thanks for spending some time here.
You got it, John. You take care. I'll talk to you soon.
Have a good one, buddy. Man, I have nice callers. I really like this community a lot. I really do. Yeah, hit the like button if you would, you guys. I'm bad at begging for that, but it really does make a difference. The way it goes is the more thumbs up there are in a live stream while it's going, the YouTube algorithm sees that. And the more thumbs up there are, the more people they put this in front of to click on to watch it. So it's that simple. The more thumbs up, the more people they'll go, oh, people like this. Put in front of more people that have a history of looking up college football, whatever. That's how it works. Look at this. Jake does sports. Jake from State Farm. I think more people need to recognize how close this Georgia Notre Dame line is. Notre Dame's starting to garner more national respect. If you're going to go on the negative side of that, you would say the only reason it's like that is because their quarterback's hurt and they're not sure what they're going to get. So I'm just telling you, I found that interesting too when people put in I think it was 1.5 show. And so, John, listen, John, that clown ruins your show and just gives you no credibility. Why? I actually look at it the other way, and I'm going to explain to you why. And I'm not being rude. I don't recognize your name, so I don't think you're a regular, or if I've missed it, maybe I missed it. I'm going to look at it the other way. I don't respect shows where if one person is a troll or disagrees with the host or wants to be goofy a little bit or take a contrarian take, they get blocked forever. And you end up down a hallway where everybody there thinks the exact same thing all the time. And if you disagree with the host or you have a negative thing to say or you disagree with whatever and you get blocked, that is an unhealthy ecosystem. Last week, I banned Ronald for a whole day because he crossed the line. Now he's back, and he could disagree and put crap in here if he wants. He could put crap in here if he wants. Here's the other thing. I'll be honest about this too. So that's number one. Talking about credibility, people that have no credibility in this niche are the ones who block everybody who ever disagrees with them, and it ends up like politics, where you end up with everybody in an ecosystem that agrees on one side and the other, and they never hear anything they disagree with. And then you end up with this affirmation bias that your little corner of what you're consuming is reality and everything else seems crazy. That's what I think is no credibility. That's no credibility. And I see it every day on every corner of the internet. That's no credibility. A lot of these people will block anybody that disagrees with them at all. And it's only the people that agree with everything. That's not a healthy dynamic. But when he crosses the line, I banned him. I banned him for that one day. I got him out of here, and he was in jail, and then I let him come back the next day, and we do it again. Here's the other thing. I'll let you in behind the curtains on the production team here. Here's a little secret. Did it ever occur to anyone that sometimes I like having people in here that say wild stuff because it gives me things to react to in a 2.5 hour show? To get mad at or to show the total flip side of whatever, or think about if you're me, if everybody's just going, go Irish, we're the best, go Irish, we're the best. And I got 5,000 messages saying that, there's no meat here. Sometimes I like having some people that are off the track because it gives me something to highlight to prove a point. Or to yell at and make, whatever. So there's multiple reasons. But no credibility is all the people who block anybody who disagrees with them. And there's a lot of people in the Notre Dame space that do that, and politics and everywhere else, like college football, whatever. I try not to do it. I only try and do it when you cross certain lines. So I don't know. Whatever. But that I do react poorly to the no credibility thing. So yeah, it's a lot more credibility when you see something that's so wiped clean. Every single person agrees with everything the host says the whole entire time. And nobody has a contrarian thought at all. Nobody says a negative thing about Notre Dame. Everything's that's boring. Who would want to engage with that? Boring. You can't be like that where I'm a Notre Dame fan. Everything has to be all perfect for Notre Dame or I can't handle it. No. I like mixing it up. But he did cross the line. He is a habitual line stepper. But for all you Chappelle people, Ronald is a habitual line stepper. And he went crazy last week, and I had to put him in jail. And I don't think clowns have a good history of doing good in jail. But I don't know. So that's kind of what's up with that. We got a 574. I don't see any call history here. Welcome to the show, 574. First time caller or what?
Yeah, first time caller. Yeah. Kevin Coggin, I was on the chat. Yeah, I can't say I'm been here very long. I'm not here in the summers and whatnot, but I will be next year for sure.
Hey, man, I really appreciate it. Okay, wait. First, I see this 574. So are you local? Were you able to go to the game, or what's the deal? 574, you're local, obviously.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm a stone's throw. Yeah, I'm just a poor kid. I'm just a local kid. I didn't go there. Irish Catholic, baptized there. My boy's baptized there.
There's a lot of that. There's a lot of that in this fan base.
Yeah, I'm loving hearing that. Prayers. I've been listening for the last couple of weeks now, and prayers to all those who've passed and whatnot. That's really, really nice to hear, and nice to get together on that. And yeah, along those lines, like, geez, man, this is great. I just want to say, like, I really appreciate what you're doing here, man. This is great. I mean, I'm a local kid that saw. I mean, you know, on the school, I went to public school where it was just Wolverines everywhere. Like everybody was like, "Fuck Notre Dame!" Like right here, you know, a mile from Notre Dame, and I've just grown up with that shit my whole life. And like coming here, listening to this, I'm loving it. I just like
Hey,
the thanks, shit, man.
thanks a lot, man. And you know what? I always try and it's really good to have regular callers where you know what you're gonna get kind of for entertainment value. Like I have regulars now that have like 200 calls log. I know exactly what I'm gonna get. But I always like finding new people to mix in here, man. It is just a beautiful thing to have that blend of some of the regulars and then newer people that want to jump on. And I know the Cullen thing isn't for everyone. Some people like it little bit of stage fright or like that's not their comfort, but a lot of people, man, they just need to talk it out. There's so many like emotions that go into Notre Dame. You just sometimes want a place to be able to just talk it out, you know, with a like-minded group of people that just think like you do and like what you do. Sometimes this group just needs to yell about football. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, man. There's like so many quotes from you that I just love. Like, yeah, sometimes just good to get together and just talk shit about football.
Yeah, sometimes it's good to just yell about football, man. And you know what else, man? Listen, this cuts both ways for me. There have been some moments where it's really not easy to do this. After the Ohio State game last year was the toughest 3 hours I've ever had in doing Notre Dame content, taking those calls after that game with no time to react myself, going live 1 minute after that nightmare. And it was one of the worst nights of all of our lives. I was completely miserable. I was just like, after it, I was a wreck. But I felt like I had an obligation to let these people vent. And then but then when Notre Dame does good things, then it's a benefit on the other side where we all celebrate together and people are actually happy for once. Like I ride the emotions, baby, whatever they are, we ride them here.
Yeah, I feel it. Oh man, it resonates, man. Yeah, I love it. I wanted to know what section were you in? Is that
what was it? 115, I think. It was up in the corner by the jumbo, and there were a lot of Indiana people. But listen, man, I paid face value and it was extremely affordable and I have no complaints at all. I don't care if there was a lot of Indiana people for what I paid compared to what I was online. I have not one complaint at all. And by the way, Dr. John, the famous caller here, is who I sat with and got me and my dad the tickets. So God bless him and safe travels. I know he's traveling today. But I have no complaints at all. I was just happy to be there.
Yeah. I was in 114. So I was real close.
Did you feel like there was a lot of red too? I kind of, in our area, there was some patches of red, but it was not like to a point where it bothered me and no one around me was really causing any trouble. I didn't have any beef or anybody was causing. There was a couple families in red. People were pretty mild mannered in my area.
Some of both for me, like more chirpers than not. Yeah. So like I came at, man, You've broken something up in me, John.
Good.
You have, man.
Good.
It's a long time coming. Yeah, I mean, I'm a lifer. Like,
yep.
Like I was saying, my dad was born in Ireland. Like, I grew up, just like you probably, yelling at the TV, turning colors.
That's it. That's it, man.
The only way. We got Brian Kelly on the screen right now. That's the only place I really identified with him. It's where he starts turning colors.
Yeah.
Like, it looks familiar to me.
Yeah, it's
and
great.
By the way, I'm with it 100%. Like everything you said about Freeman, man, I'll go through a wall with him. Like he is just he's General Patton, he's Frank Leahy, he's all of it. I'm just loving Freeman. But yeah, I mean, I gotta admit, like when it was Brian Kelly, this Irish from Boston, I thought, all right, this is it. But yeah, it took me a while. It was my wife really was turned on Kelly before I did. But I met his parents. I'm a waiter here locally, and so I get to meet the fans when they're coming in and out, and I got to meet Kelly's parents, and they were all class. And I thought, his dad's a Boston cop and all that. I thought that'd rub off on him, but I was wrong. But
Yeah.
anyway.
Hey, I'm glad we're where we're at. And I just felt like Notre Dame needed a different energy as things were changing quickly in the college football landscape. Going with Freeman with no experience was a risk. But if it took root and worked, I thought there would be a high-end upside to it. And I'm hoping what we're seeing is not the peak, but the beginning of the ascent of what that next phase of Freeman's career here is going to look like. That's my hope.
Yeah. Like, this is hitting just the right time. Like, we are putting the rubber to the road. Like, it's all happened so fast, Freeman, and then, new AD, new president, boom, boom. And it's all like all roads are lining up. This is beautiful.
Yeah.
Like,
it does. It feels, dude, you're local. And so you get probably to campus and feel more Notre Dame moments than a lot of people that where it's once a year, a lot of travel or inconvenient, whatever, if you're local. Just the energy.
My wife works there.
The energy around the program feels very, very different. And there's a different spark here now that it was getting, even when you were winning a lot of games, kind of stale before, where you just, even if things were decent, you didn't feel like there was like a big hot flame burning to like get to the next level. There's a little different spark here. Let's see how far Notre Dame and Freeman can take it.
Yeah. I just gotta say, man, like, I was fired up the other day. Like, I stayed. I got young kids, so my mother-in-law came in to babysit and all that, and I'm watching game day, having a few pints, and I'm listening. I knew there'd be some meat out there, like Signetti. I was waiting for Signetti to get up. He talks so much shit. I mean, his balls were 40 fucking pounds apiece. Like, I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for a clean game. I'm looking for mutual respect. Like, we're getting both. I'm loving that. But yeah, we don't just play top 25. We kick their ass.
Yeah,
and he said that loud and proud. And Saban checked him. He's like, yeah, I taught you a lot, but you're talking a lot of shit here. I didn't teach you that.
Yeah, it's
I loved it.
I just felt like the program and experience of never being in that moment. They overplayed their hand. I'm glad they got exposed. I started to like later in the week how there was not much coming out of the Notre Dame side at all, and I loved it. It was like, we're in the lab, we're getting ready for this. We know what we're doing. What the outside doesn't exist. We don't care about any of the media stuff. Freeman didn't feel the need to go match Signetti with a bunch of statements to grab headlines. Freeman was all about making it about him and his group, and the other guy was making it about him and his accomplishments on Google. And those are two very, very different ways to grow into this playoff moment. And I like the way Notre Dame handled it. I'm proud of everybody involved. They handled it the right way and got the job done.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah, I'm loving it. I like that. Kirby, I feel like a similar vibe, like professional, like Saban-esque. Maybe I'm wrong, but let's put some civility back into it.
Yeah,
a little fight and civility, just like the Leprechaun. Classy until you don't push it too far. I know I got to go here, but I came in so loud and proud. It was me and my wife. She got me tickets for my birthday. I never thought in a million years I'd be going. I was ecstatic. Hearing that from Signetti, we marched down to the stadium. Every hoo I heard, we shut it down immediately. I can barely talk. Like, it was go Irish, be Hoosiers. We shut them down.
It was. Listen, man, I was so proud of the Notre Dame fans because, like, for this weather and the travel and everything, you really had to be there for the right reasons. And it was a Notre Dame fan base with an edge to it that I have been begging for my entire adult life. I was begging to go to a Notre Dame game that matters nationally and feel that edge with our fan base. And I genuinely mean it. I felt that edge and it warmed my heart and it brought me back to the days where we used to really kick ass. I liked it.
Yes. Yeah, I grew up, with the 80s with the big cigars, and it was go Irish all around the stadium all day and night. And I don't know where that went to, but like we were bringing it back. It's back full on, and we're doing it with class. We got our fists up, but we keep it classy. I was awesome. I'm really happy. I just want to get in real quick. I can talk for another hour about presentation and all this kind of stuff. I agree with you mostly, but we need some more Irish in there. I'll just say briefly.
Yeah.
But I love, House of Pain, Thin Lizzy, the Pogues. Like they I want to maybe get in somebody's ear about that. But anyway, just that I love. Is the doing the prayer on the
Yep.
Jumbotron, a new thing.
I think I do remember that before, actually. I don't think that's new. I think I remember that from before. But man, they did a good job with all of this, man. Listen, I really appreciate you. I love getting first time guys in here. I see the 574, so I know I'm dealing with the local. Always feel free to call. I tell people, save the number and give me a call. I'm really glad to get a new guy in here. It's great. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Yeah, have a good day.
Have a good one.
Irish.
Yeah.
Bye.
What a nice guy. Jeez, what a nice guy. All right, you guys. I have a hard out at 12. I have a bunch of calls still in the thing, but a lot of them are regulars that have called a lot before. And I wanted to give people that don't have a lot of call history or no call history a chance to jump in here. And again, I hope people understand that. But like if you just called a few days ago, right before the game, I want to get some people that haven't called in a while back in and new people. I hope you understand that. Ronald says, all right. I'm telling you, dude, Matthew McConaughey lives an awesome life. It is just, could you imagine being that dude? Like you are him and like everybody knows and you're like this famous dude. And then you get to wear a cowboy hat and you're on the sideline. You're a celebrity at every game and everybody wants to like come hug you and say, what's up, bro? He was talking to Dabo before the game. Like that dude lives an awesome life. And and with the cowboy hat and the jacket, and he's just like Mr. Cool. And he's right on the sideline for every big game, and everybody's talking to him. That's awesome, man. I'm jealous of that guy. All right. Okay, so I want to end with this. It's one of the great things about like our tailgate group or whatever, the Always Irish family, which is growing, which is great. Whether it's, my tailgates that I host or the one that with the Dowlings that we just had and our people that were there, I really appreciate that you never have to explain any of this Notre Dameness to any of those people that come. There is no like, man, why don't you... It's just a football game. Chill out. Or like, why does this mean so much to you, John? Why are you pacing around in the parking lot instead of drinking and having fun and laughing? Like, I don't have to explain that to anybody there. Everybody there gets it. This isn't just about a football game. This is about something much, much bigger. And you just don't have to explain that with anybody in that group because everybody just understands. The default setting is understanding that this whole Notre Dame thing is way bigger than just wins or losses, and what it all represents is what this is about. And it's just great to never have to explain that to anybody in that group because everybody lives it and gets it. And it's comforting. It's comforting. I do see a bunch of Georgia people that have jumped in here today. I don't mean a bunch, but if I get like 5 Georgia people, that's usually 4 more than usual, right? And so I welcome to those people. And listen, I haven't dug into any Georgia stuff yet. I'm just going to say, listen, they have a really good coach that has been in the big moment and proven himself and won national titles. And they are a top 3 recruiting team every single year. And so what you're going up against. And Notre Dame's got to play a good game and go in there and try and win it. Like nobody's disrespecting Georgia's talent. I'm certainly not going to. I know the Georgia side wants me to. The Georgia media side wants me to what am I going to say, man? I respect the coach's resume a lot. There's almost nobody probably better equipped to prep for these kind of moments than him and his staff. And I know they're loaded with talent. So whether it's the backup quarterback or not, I know they have a lot of talent. So I'm not disrespecting Georgia at all, but they have looked vulnerable at times this year. And so is Notre Dame and so is everybody else. So go in there and try and win the game anyways. Thanks everybody for being here. And guess what? It's Sunday. I'll go live tomorrow morning. I'll see you all in the morning. Thanks for the chats. Thanks for the calls. Thanks for everybody for being here. Have a good one.